In this video, we're going to expand our knowledge on the railroad method, which is just a simple way to solve an algebraic equation to find the value of x. Since we know how to do simple addition subtraction problems, let's move on to solving more complex equations. If you still need to learn the basics, please watch my previous video. So in this lesson, instead of adding and subtracting, we're going to be using division and multiplication. Let's say we have 3x equals 9, solve for x. I know you can do this in your head, blah, blah, blah. It's easy, right? But you have to learn the correct way to do it. Because in advanced classes, you have to learn to do this method, and you have to do more complex problems. Do you remember the law of equations from my last video? Well, here's a quick refresher. What you do to one side of an equation, you have to do to the other. So remember, our goal is to always get x by itself. But how? Remember how we subtracted from each side last time? You can also divide. It's the same thing. Let's take a look at this problem. 3x divided by what equals x? Well, obviously it's 3. You just divide each side by that number then, because we're using the law of equations. And look here, 3 divided by 3 equals 1, right? Then you have 1x, which is just x. This is how it should look. So does that make sense? All we did was divide each side by 3. We just used the law of equations to our advantage, like we did last time. Okay, but now multiplication is a bit trickier. Alright, so let's say you're given the problem 3x over 4 equals 7. Solve for x. Now, we just need to multiply each side by a single value to get x by itself. I know, what does that mean? Well, do you remember reciprocals? Here's a little refresher on reciprocals. A reciprocal is just where you flip the numerator and denominator of a number, which is just the top and bottom. You just flip them, like 2 over 3, the reciprocal of 2 over 3 is 3 over 2. So a number multiplied by its own reciprocal is always 1 in every case. But in this case, we have to use the law of equations to get x by itself, like always. So why don't we multiply each side by the reciprocal, which is 4 over 3. This is what you would get. So that's simple enough, right? Well, what if you have an addition and a multiplication? Well, in that case, you always do the addition or subtraction before you multiply or divide. It's always much easier. Here, let me give you an example. 2x minus 1 equals 5. Simple. All you have to do is add the 1 to that side. Then you get 2x equals 6. And then you divide each side by 2. So x equals 3. And you can always check your answers on all of these by plugging x in to the original equation.